All right, still on the escalating insecurity in the nation, I am now joined by Dr. Anya Roberts, the security, counter-terrorism, and counter-insurgency expert. Anya, glad to have you join me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let me just start from there. Actually, I was listening to that congressman. He said that the government of the land ain't doing enough. He was asked by Arise News, actually, whether the government of the land was doing enough to count concerning security, Nigeria being declared a CPC by Trump. He said Nigeria wasn't doing enough. Do you think that government should really get the flag? Is government doing enough?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to have me once again here.
Yeah.
You see, the killing, like you said earlier, one too many. You could see from what's on ground today is the ambush of a general in Damboa.
Killing, actually.
The killing, the ambush of a convoy. If you know what it means for a general, for a theater commander to be in that kind of place with the kind of convoy he has, and what would have given the ISWAP that confidence to ambush them. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, in as much as I know that the military, our men and women in uniform, they have made a lot of sacrifices, more should be done to stop this killing. The whole idea of, designating Nigeria as CPC is because of the number of killings. Too many. And as if nothing is happening. Tomorrow, just within a week, or 2 weeks after the designation of Nigeria as CPC, we saw what happened in Kwara State. We saw what happened in so many other places in Nigeria. The killing has continued like that.
Does it look like...
So like I was trying to say, we need to do more. This is the time to involve technological warfare.
I'm going to get... Does it look to you like it's the security situation, the killings, does it look like to you like it's ticking up? It's suddenly climbing. And what do you, by the way, make of declaring Nigeria CPC? And then maybe you take along with it, what really, because they were discussing about religion and all that, what are the drivers of terrorism? And then we dive into solutions. Because, if you don't really identify the cause, the root cause of the problem, all you do will be just, like Elton John would say, blowing in the wind.
Excuse me, yeah?
So, what do you make of declaring the country CPC? What are the real drivers? And like you said, government is not doing enough. What should the government be doing that are not doing?
Okay, I think at this point I need to take us back to when Boko Haram started. If you look at the southern part of Borno State, predominantly Christians, with a few Muslims there. And then you could remember that Boko Haram was actually attacking the Christian communities in the beginning when they started their onslaught. So if someone says that Christians in the north or in certain parts of the north were actually targeted, by who? Boko Haram. I am not also disputing the fact that there are pockets of attacks on Muslim communities and mosques. But that community, look, the whole of southern Borno State, Biu, Damboa, so many other places, including the place where the military general was ambushed, predominant Christian areas. Do you understand? So when Boko Haram was busy killing those Christian communities there, anybody could just come up and say that Christian communities are targeted in those areas because some of the states in the north are predominantly Muslims.
Yep.
And then you have pockets of Christians. And then when such communities are attacked, but not by government. See, the caveat here is that not by the government, If you say CPC, yes, but it's only when government is involved in the killing. Is government doing enough? Government is trying, but they need to do more. Because the only way you could know if government has done enough, if you're able to reduce. There's a sudden surge on the attacks now, if you're observant. Sudden surge.
That was what I was asking.
Yes, there's a surge. That means, if you look, and who are we talking about now? It's no more Boko Haram per se. It's the ISWAP, a much more advanced terrorist organization that came from Syria and Iraq. So they have much more technology. So what government needs to do right now is to deploy much more sophisticated technologies.
Okay, for you,
yes.
I read an article you did write. For you, winning the the heart and minds of the general population and less kinetic approach in addition to providing modern equipment, interagency collaboration, and feedback on policy implementation. How do you win the hearts of the people who just kidnapped 25 girls, killed worshippers in church, shot dead the general, and some people? How do you win their hearts?
That's what I'm saying. In terrorism, there are theories that say that winning the hearts and mind of the terrorized community would help. Yes, it does in insurgency. But then, you don't just win the hearts. These are people that come with, you can imagine ambushing a whole general's convoy in the battlefield with remote control improvised explosive devices. So at that point, you need to really use kinetic approach to push them down until, remember, we're talking about the communities, the terrorized communities. In those areas, first of all, you push these people back, forward with kinetic approach. You can't just treat them with kid gloves at this point. Push them back to an extent, then you start doing quick impact projects. It's those quick impact projects that will bring the attention of the communities.
What do you mean by quick impact?
You start building hospitals, schools, because those infrastructure has all been destroyed. You start building those things that will make the community understand that, yes, the military is our friend. They've come to fight these people. Without those quick impact projects, you will not start attracting the community. Those things the community lack, you start doing them.
You also talked about equipments,
yes.
Having equipments.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, what particular equipment are you talking about here? And I want you to add this to that question. I was discussing with a general, and we talked about response time when these incidences occur. The response time has been an issue. I mean, up till now, you still have the cheap-born girls there. This is the third day, and we're still talking about 25 girls. So what do you make about the response time, boots on the ground? The general also said that there are not enough boots on the ground.
Of course. Like I said, I believe we need to do more. At this point, this is the time to take over that airspace. It is time to send in unmanned aerial vehicles to be able to take intel, because all these things work is that they are intel. Know where they are, know how many they are, and then know how to send response. You mustn't send boots on the ground too, like you said. There are drones that could convert 5 kilogram, 10 kilogram explosives, and then meet them where they are. We know they have anti-aircraft guns and what have you. But at this point, this is the time we need help. We need those technologies that will get to where they are.
Why are we not getting the technologies?
I'm not saying we're not getting it, but we need more. I don't know what we have at the moment. Nigerian, like I said, our military, they are really trying. They really tried. It's not really easy for you to see a whole general in the battlefield. That's sacrifice from the military. But at this point, the federal government should involve to get equipment, much more sophisticated equipment. Send drones that could just do area mapping of that place. It's not rocket science.
Now, there are so many issues to raise. Time. Julius Bio, the president of Senegal, is proposing an ECOWAS, UN, AU compact, a coordinated effort against terrorism and its financing in the West Africa region. Would that help?
It could help. You said US and United Nations.
Yeah, ECOWAS, UN, and AU.
Yes, ECOWAS, UN, and AU coming together to bring finance and be able to fight together. That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Like what the issue I had with the CPC or America coming to Nigeria directly, the issue I had was if you read down America or if you're talking about the R2P, there is responsibility to protect. Okay. If the UN decides to intervene in Nigeria, it should be a collective effort. It shouldn't be one nation coming because of biases. It could be misinterpreted by other nations. If US, United Kingdom, and some other countries come together and say, even West African countries come together and say, okay, the issue in Nigeria needs to be tackled, and then they combine together, then we have rules of engagement that will guide them on what they're supposed to do.
In fact, UN actually made a statement. It says also to address the root cause of terrorism, the UN Secretary Guterres advocates intelligence sharing and financial tracking through the UN Global Counter-Terrorism Compact, the UN's coordination mechanism against terror, and ECOWAS counter-terrorism strategy.
Like you
This is at the UN level.
Intelligence sharing is key. Without intel, you wouldn't know how many of them are there. Their source of funds, their source of weapons. Like in those areas, let's look at Borno, Adamawa, Yobe, and then the borders around there. You could see that the other countries around there, there are almost 1,000 or more unmanned or poorly manned borders around there. Those are areas they use for smuggling of, proliferation of small arms and light weapons. Those are also the areas they use to move out the funds. The terrorists we have in Nigeria, the bandits, they collect ransom in cash. Have you ever inquired, how do they move these funds out of Nigeria? Have you ever asked yourself, how do they even bring these sophisticated weapons?
Tracking. So that's what I'm saying. Why he was talking about tracking.
That's what I'm talking about, tracking. There are radio frequency tracking. There are things government could do.
Why is
government could go underground, go undercover. Some of these weapons, label them, radio frequency, attach references to them. It will take you to wherever they've taken these weapons to and where they are.
No, that's the question.
Technology.
So why are we... For you, it should be done.
Yes.
It's kind of easy. Why is the government of Nigeria not doing this?
The new chief of air staff,
Yeah.
Air Vice Marshal Aneke, I listened to his speech the last time. From what he said, there are plans by the military to do serious aerial bombardment in those areas. Number one, to release their operational capacity, which is very important. It's because they feel they have everything. That's why they're able to ambush a convoy. Do you understand? So with what he said, I see a future where Nigerian Air Force will really do enough. And he said, pinpointed, he said it's going to be strategic. I think they've already started. There were some attacks on the highlights today.
Recently,
you could see it.
Precision strikes.
Yes, precision. And I think they're also getting new weapons that could go with missile guided, in those areas.
Doc, we don't have all the time because I was going to talk about the question of collusion, because we've had stories about people within, collusion, and then this financing. Why can't we track the people who are financing? Well, Dr. Anya Roberts there for you, security, counter-terrorism, and counter-insurgency expert. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
letting me
much.
pick your brain.
Thank you.